Hello, everyone. Welcome back to yet another political episode. So, we got breaking news. We are projecting that the president of Ecuador has won re-election to a second term. He has defeated his former opponent in 2023 for the second time. This, of course, is pretty, in my view, no surprise. Daniel Noboa is very liked as the president of Ecuador, despite actually not being from Ecuador, I believe. He is Ecuadorian, but he is actually born from Miami, Florida. He's technically a U.S. citizen by birth, which is actually very interesting. I did not know that. You would think, being born in the United States, and, us in the United States, it really, Ted Cruz, he was born in Canada. He was allowed to run, so I don't know if Ecuador has the same laws as the United States, unless you have are born to Ecuadorian parents, similar to how Ted Cruz was born to American parents. He just happened to be born in Canada. I'm not so sure, but obviously Daniel Noboa was allowed to run, and the Ecuadorian people were like, "Yep, it doesn't really matter if you were born here or not. I mean, we like that you're Ecuadorian," and they voted for him. And looking at this election here. Now, to be clear, this is not the election results. This is the first round. I don't know if we talked about the first round a couple months ago, but I don't know if we had this sort of map being placed. This is the at large, the exterior results, because some Ecuadorians around the world get to participate, and those votes will be counted. But Daniel Noboa is the winner, and he has won by a large margin, by 11 points. This is much bigger compared to his 2023 run. And looking at Daniel Noboa, I think of Noboa as someone that people generally like. I mean, he did win the first round by a little bit, because there were other conservative parties that were taken away from Daniel Noboa's numbers. But the left, mainly the far left, was really, once again, united behind Luisa Gonzalez, as they were in 2023, and the trend is pretty clear. The National Democratic Action Party, the party of Daniel Noboa, who founded this party, it is actually pretty conservative, center-right to right-wing. I know it used to not be that. According to Wikipedia, it actually used to be center, because this is the video that was a year ago, I would say, assumingly, 2 years almost. Almost 2 years it's October 15th, 2023. So like a year ago, really. But yes, you'll see it's more center, and they support more like social democracy. But I'm guessing the party evolved over time. You don't really see social democracy over there. Instead, you have conservatism, libertarianism, conservative liberalism, anti-corism. And Daniel Noboa overall has been recognized around the world for being very conservative. And I think the party first started out as a centrist political party, just to get people, hey, this is the party, this is a party anyone can join. But then Daniel Noboa became president. He began to form the party by his own ideals, even though he created the party. I don't really know what his strategy was. Probably just to be a little open-minded on whoever can join. But yes, you'll see in 2025, the National Democratic Action Party gained 55 seats in the National Assembly. That said, they have 66 seats in the Assembly currently. Is this a Senate? No, this is an Assembly. Never mind. 66 out of 151 seats. they did gain 11 seats in 2023. Very new for a very good for a new political party, if you have to ask me. So actually, and it becomes very clear that Ecuador is becoming more of a right-wing country, because formally, Ecuador has been known for being very progressive, similar to like Venezuela and Bolivia. But throughout its history, Ecuador has been very conservative when it comes to traditionalism, anti-liberalism, and Roman Catholicism. So I think in the 2010s, Ecuador experienced a secular populism that came before this guy. This guy was leftist, I want to believe. Yes. This guy who is the guy who changed it all, Guillermo Lasso, President Lasso, who comes from the CREO, which is a center-right to right-wing political party which is creating opportunities. But like people like Lenin Moreno, he was a leftist coming from the PACE Alliance. Actually, no, it's now center-right. What am I talking about? Center-right. So it's already evolving. Historically, though, until 2018, it was center-left. And I think it was Lenin Moreno. He's not a leftist, but more of a conservative. It was him that got the PACE Alliance to move to the right. But during this time, under Rafael Correa, the PACE Alliance was left-wing. Very left-wing, actually. You go left-wing, it was a part of the United Front, which is pretty left-wing, socialist-like. So you got people like Rafael Correa, who controlled very popular in Ecuador, as you can clearly see. Then there's also we got Lucio Guterres, whatever his name is, from the Patriotic Society Party. It's somewhat left, somewhat right. But you get what I'm saying. During 2006 to 2017, Ecuador experienced a period of secular leftism. It was very comparable to Bolivia, very comparable to Venezuela, and kind of is today. It still is pretty secular, but I would say it's not left-wing as it's kind of weird, because I usually associate Ecuador to be one of the most left-wing countries in Latin America, but it's definitely changed over time. Since 2017, 8 years ago, and for 8 years, the right has controlled Ecuador. I think it's done. If I'm doing the math correctly, Ecuador has been more conservative, voting more to the right than it is to the left during the Correa era, who kept, of course, Ecuador very liberal. But this mandate was pretty big, because Luisa Gonzalez did represent the ideology of the Correa administration, very left-wing, although not coming from his PACE party, right? Because the PACE party is conservative now. This political party is the Citizen Revolution Movement, and judging by the name, it's pretty left-wing. They support socialism of the 21st century, along with Correaism, which is the ideology of Rafael Correa, who, of course, kept Ecuador left-wing. Nobola's political party, National Democratic Action Party, is actually against Correaism, against the ideology of Rafael Vicente Correa Delgado, who kept, of course, turned Ecuador into a Bolivia and a Venezuela for like 8 years, which Ecuador got very flirted with Venezuela and Bolivia for quite a time, and now that era is pretty much over. You could now make an argument that Peru is now more closer to Venezuela and Bolivia. Then again, they have more of a left-wing government than Ecuador. But then again, I think yes, there is absolutely no way you won't get the traditional Ecuador we used to know back in the late 2000s or early 2010s, the Correa era. This is a 55.70%, rejecting Luisa Gonzalez by a wide margin. She represented the former ideals of the very popular Correa, who, of course, one of the most popular presidents, despite having a lot of opposition, turned Ecuador to assault. Yeah, you will see all of this is green for his Paz Alliance party, which he helped found, I want to believe. I don't think he helped found, but yeah, he is the founder of this party. But then, guess who took over? This guy did. Lenin Moreno. He couped the party, made it conservative. But yes, a very interesting Ecuador is. And the ideological shift is quite interesting also. Ecuador is still secular. I'm keeping in mind, letting you guys know, but it's very different. It's, I would say, conservative secularism, populism, right-wing. I wouldn't say right-wing populism. I would definitely not call Ecuador a far-right country. No, I would say that would be right-wing populism, but I want to say conservative secularism is the better ideology for Ecuador. And seeing that Daniel Noboa has been notorious for his conservative ideals, very conservative than center, if you ask me, more right-wing than center. They voted for him by over a double-digit margin over the left-wing candidate that represented the country's former ideology that everyone used to love. This is an indictment against the left. It really is in Ecuador. And it's, of course, a transition back to conservatism. And, will it go back to leftism? I bet you it will, because Ecuador has, throughout its whole entire history, has been bouncing back and forth ideologically. To be fair, the other ideology would take over in a civil war, or in a coup, a revolution, or they would take over in an undemocratic election. And then there would be a slight trend, and then it would go the opposite direction. Something big will happen, and it will go back the other direction. That's kind of the pattern it's been taking. I wouldn't be surprised if Ecuador went back to the left. It probably will, because it's Ecuador, like the rest of Latin America, unpredictable with its ideology. But obviously, the country of Ecuador is, on my graph, a right-wing country. I think that defines it well, especially with this guy here, Daniel Noboa, slamming Luisa Gonzalez a second time, much aggressively compared to a year ago, or 2 years, a year and a half ago, where, this is like 11. Okay, yeah, in the second round, Noboa received 55.7% of the vote, defeating Gonzalez by a margin of 12 percentage points. That's worse than 11 and 10 points. So this is a grand indictment against the left in Ecuador on the fact that this party, the ADN, gained 66 seats in the National Assembly. It actually could be the majority now, because if you think about it, the National Assembly, it's not like our Congress in the United States where you have two political parties. Ecuador has many different political parties. And sure, yeah, the ADN does not have the majority of seats in the National Assembly in Ecuador. But they do have the most compared to all the others. They're in the lead. They have the most seats in the said National Assembly, but they don't have the majority, because you need to crash a certain threshold in order to gain a majority, but it does have the amount of seats, if that makes sense. But you guys are probably wondering, where are the results? What are the country results? This is the first round. Unfortunately, Wikipedia has not posted the results yet, but I would expect the results to be much bigger than this, okay? I think Gonzalez is probably carrying this place and this constituency, or what, I don't know what they call their divisions in Ecuador, but the lighter areas, the lighter blue areas, are probably being carried as we speak by Daniel Noboa. He's won those areas, very likely. The areas in dark blue, and I want to believe this area is where Gonzalez comes from. She comes from the home province of Manabi, which, yep, that's her home province. So they voted for her. She's the favorite son, and that's what we call people who wins their home state or home area by a lot due to their recognition, and obviously being from that area. Walter Mondale was an example. He won Minnesota, the only state he carried, because he was from Minnesota, despite the big, massive popularity of Ronald Reagan. Which I would think if Walter Mondale didn't run, Reagan would have won Minnesota easily. But yeah, so Gonzalez is the favorite son in Manabi, and it's very likely that she carried that province, or it could be that's the only province she carried. She's carrying that. It doesn't, the shades of color, I would say 60, 70, 80% of the vote. But the other areas, like I know this place and this place here, so I'm not sure. Wikipedia will post these results, and you'll just have to go to Wikipedia and check on them. Also, I want to keep mentioning this. Ecuador does have the exterior election results, and I did the only result I did, the only exterior election on this channel I've talked about was the results on the Russians abroad, which was more detailed, if you will. The problem, I made it clear, I want to talk about this, and a lot of people are like, why haven't you did another video about this? But the reason is they get posted super late, and by the time I get the map, it's already dead news. It's a month, 2 months, and it's not really worth making a video. It's not going to get that attention. It's very irrelevant. So a lot of the maps have been posted, and I didn't even cover them. That's because they've been posted super late. And I understand, because I understand 100%, because then again, it's kind of hard to get exterior election results. It really is. Let's see, Ecuador exterior results. It might be titled in Spanish, so I don't know. It's just showing. Oh, okay. Because I know the 2021 results are out. In fact, I could just type that up. How about that? Okay, this is the exterior election for 2021. This is the second round. It's in Spanish, that's why. So if you're trying to search these up in regards to Ecuador, just try to translate this. But this is what 2021 looked like. I don't know if they're going to post 2025. They haven't posted the 2025 election for the first round, though. But yes, this is 2021. They haven't even posted 2023. Which kind of makes me feel, okay, this is probably not a commitment that Wikipedia has decided to do. Very likely they've decided to just do 2021 and just leave it like that. I'm like, okay, if you're going to do 2021, you might as well do them all. I mean, where are you getting this information? We'd like to know so we can make these maps if you are very lazy to make them. But it's very unlikely that we're going to see an Ecuador at large, more an Ecuadorians abroad video. I want to do this. So far, Russia is the only video I got to. And this is going to be the very rare, once in a blue moon. I bet maybe once a year we'll cover one of these elections. Maybe one time one creator would actually post, one person from Wikipedia would actually create the map and post it to Wikipedia, and we can review it. But I really want to do it, but can't do it when we have zero information and no knowledge about it. So anyway, what do you guys know? What do you guys think about this video and the results? Very big win for conservatives in Ecuador, as Ecuador is becoming a very conservative country, as its southern neighbor and even its northern neighbor, aka its neighbors, Colombia and Peru, are being controlled by far-left governments. What do you guys think? Anyway, let me know what you guys think down below, and as always, see you all in the next political episode.